And just like that, we're live on a Wednesday night on this hump day. Oh my goodness. In front of a live virtual audience. Let's just get started. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Steve V. This is episode 757. Let that sit in. Alongside the one and only back in business with me. He had a week off. Kodi,
Yeah.
Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. It's good to see your face on this platform again. I need to actually see you in person too. So,
Yes. Well, we were
yes.
talking about that. So
Yes, we
let's get
were.
something in the books soon for sure. And absolutely. Well, we have been talking so much. Well, like we mentioned, we're in front of a live virtual audience, and a lot of you I see want to hear from you. We'll shout out to you all hour long. And please weigh in on some of the topics we're talking about. We've been talking a lot, Kodi, about travel. I think we've got this bug that we're all ready to get on a plane and go somewhere uh, because we're itching for warm weather. And some of us live in warmer climates than others, but it's that season where we think about travel, where the clothes are coming off. And we've been talking a lot. Initially, it was about a study that said that people feel hotter when they're on holiday or vacation.
Okay.
Cody,
Yes.
yep, and Teddy and I continued that last week a little bit more on the sexual side of all of that. Well, now we're calling this 2.5 because a recent article came out by Queerty that was kind of caused a little bit of controversy, if you will,
Mm,
saying why is everyone suddenly talking about sex tourism? And it all centered around a ex account, Sandro Muniz, that went to Brazil of all places, and I love Brazil. And there's a video that's worth putting up on our Tags Patreon community, patreon.com/tags podcast, where Sandro, it's garnered 7.8 million views as of last
wow.
time. And that's crazy. He labeled it, he speaks a little bit of Brazil. He's not Brazilian, but he is within Brazilians and wrote Turismo sexual do Brasil es surreal. Sexual tourism in Brazil is surreal, is what he wrote about. And it's a 46-second clip featuring him talking to, he looks really great. He's pretty ripped, handsome, talking to some other locals that he finds they're all locals from in the area, but other parts of Brazil. And he's saying in Brazil, uh, um, in Portuguese, very handsome, very sexy. And he's talking to these guys. And did you see the clip that
I did. I
went
saw it.
viral?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's really great. And I think he ultimately at the end of it is talking to one in particular, this guy that he
Hmm.
finds very hot, and he asks him, "Can I get your Instagram handle?" In other words, like, puts a little arm around him, and it looks like, oh, they're going to meet up a little bit later in this vacation, and that's all great. Why he called it sex tourism is a whole different thing because sex tourism has many connotations, and one of them has to do with, if you just looked it up, it's sex tourism is travel, usually international, with the primary purpose of engaging in commercial sexual activity or sexual encounters with locals at the destination. And it involves travel to jurisdictions with legal, keyword, also sometimes not legal, but accessible or loosely regulated prostitution, often exploiting, this is the terms, economic gaps between the tourists and local sex. Well, just to give you a little bit of context on that one, I've gone in the past to Thailand, and in Thailand is a whole, you can go to places. I've been to them before and I didn't participate in it, but some of my friends did. And it's all part of the culture in certain gay tourists. You'll have a mama san, and she's kind of running the program. and oftentimes they'll bring out a slew of people that you can sort of rent either for a massage or and they'll you can even get a book too and go
Oh,
through the book and decide on who you want to spend an evening, a few hours, or a weekend with this person. Of course, you're paying for it, but it is legal within the frameworks of Thailand, and it, it
oh,
works in this. That would be considered sex tourism because it's
mm,
legal, but it's some might view it in a certain stance like, oh, you're taking advantage of. I've talked to a lot of the people that live there that some it's helping them out
yeah.
because jobs are not harder to come by, and many of them are gay and want to participate in this. Many of them maybe don't. I don't know. We'll let you decide on that portion of it. But what do you think of, just before we get into the conversation a little bit more, about this simple exchange of this guy talking to Brazilians, getting the DM on Instagram to connect a little bit later, but labeling it sex tourism? Because a lot of people had a lot to say in the comments section on like, oh, does that mean that every time I go to Brooklyn from Manhattan that this is sex tourism? And or if I go on Sniffies and that's sex tourism? What do you say to all of this?
I mean, I also saw a comment that said a friend's birthday party is sex tourism, and I thought that was hilarious. I actually read it like in the beginning of the show, and I kind of chuckled, probably in the wrong place, but oh well, here we are. But yeah, I think this is fair. I do this. I feel like a lot of people do this, and it's not really been labeled anything. So, and the guys in the video are super hot, so I can imagine that they got up to some shenanigans that were OnlyFans worthy, but I haven't seen a video yet, so I'll be looking out for it.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done this. I have pushed Diego several times, get his Instagram handle, get his Instagram handle. And he's like, stop pushing me to get everyone's Instagram handle so we can DM them later on some to get together with them. I think it's innocent. It's another way of asking for somebody to connect perhaps later without asking for their phone number. That
Yeah,
is not sex tourism. But with the definition that I read to you about what sex tourism is, and I only read a little bit of it, but it is engaging in forms of connecting with people, often for pay, legal,
mm,
and loosely regulated prostitution that
yeah.
some can find exploiting economic gaps. Do you think that maybe the term was misused in this particular video of the Brazilian exchange, or are we broadening it as gay
Yeah.
men and it just means what it really means, sex and tourism?
Yeah, I think it's something that it's from a different perspective, but I think it definitely encompasses this. I can see how the prostitution part of it does encompass sex tourism as well, but I think that if whatever floats your boat as far as this is concerned, and I think we shouldn't really mince words about this because this is in fact going somewhere and being a tourist, not and going and enjoying a sexual encounter with a local, I think that that's sex tourism too. So, yeah, I don't know that it definitely has to be specifically for prostitution. I wouldn't want to limit it to that personally.
Yeah, and in my own experience going to Thailand before and seeing how it's run, again, where you can go to these places and either get a massage, spend time with somebody. I have a dear friend that loves to go there and for a while met somebody
Oh.
that he ultimately, the person didn't have a lot of means, and ultimately they had a really I spent time with both of them. They really liked each other a lot, and my friend would
Mhm.
go as often as he could, but actually helped him through schooling. The guy ended up getting a job. The guy ultimately has a wife and kids now that my friend
Mhm.
is now putting through college and
Oh,
helping
wow.
them get education. Call it what you want, but it's benefited all of them, and he is still close with the person that he originally helped. That could be
Mhm.
sex tourism, but that ultimately ended in in a thriving way for all parties, and
Yeah, platonic relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it is legal in Thailand, and I think it's good, and so but it was sexual at first, initially, and so based on what is legal in Thailand, and so
Yeah.
I think it's all good. I think in this situation that we're talking about, calling it sex tourism, they're just meeting each other, and we've all met people in trips throughout the years and given our numbers, and it was kind of similar. I mean, can you relate to this being on a trip like this and giving out your number? And especially, I mean, I've been to Brazil and on the beach, it's, come on, Brazil, the men
Right.
are, yeah, you're all in scantily clad, you know, hot swimwear. Come on, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that it's the nature of the beast. Like we've been talking about for a couple episodes now. This is, when you go on vacation, those things are actually heightened. So I can see how going and connecting with somebody else and really just vibing with them. And of course, we're going to want to take it to the next level. And also, the stakes are higher because you don't live there. This person may or may not live there. And you want to get the most out of this connection that you can get. And while you have it here. So, yeah, of course, you're going to get their number. Of course, you're going to do things to connect, like have sex, maybe go out for a dinner and dancing or a drink or what have you. But I think that is par for the course, and it's something that all people do.
Yeah, I think there's different types of trips too, and I'm going to a launch party for you guys should all know about Rush. You can go to the number 5h.com. So Rush, substitute the S for a 5, rush.com, and they are starting these trips basically they're like 3-night trips that their whole focus is no shame, all gay vacation experience for men, male identifying guests, and they are going to be high energy playgrounds where music, fantasy, and unapologetic self expression collide. Clothing optional upper decks, seductive party themes, electrifying dance floors, and fetish inspired play spaces you can dip in and out of at your own pace. I think this sounds really fun. They're not that
Yeah.
expensive. The first one is later this year, October 2nd through the 5th. It's a round trip from Palm Beach, South Florida, cruising on to the Bahamas, and
Ooh.
you can so this is a trip where it's focused on our gay male sexuality or people that
Yeah.
identify as gay, and I think that I like the idea of it. You know what you're going to get, and I think it's always been a part of our makeup as gay men. We've been, s since the sexual freedom, out there more than our counterparts, and I think
Yeah.
to have a trip where you're not mincing anything, it's going to be a very sex focused type of trip. Would you take one of these trips, and what do you think about these as opposed to, okay, you're going with friends and there might be a little bit of this, and we can talk about that in a second, but there's going to be other things going on as well, not just sex focused.
Well, I've kind of put sex as the focus on a lot of my trips, honestly. But this sounds right up my alley. It sounds like something that I would want to go and explore. I've always thought about doing the Atlantis cruise too. So, and that's very sex positive and focused. So, yeah, I would love to do this. So let's call Patrick. Let's set it up so we can we can get on the cruise.
Yeah, exactly. I know it sounds amazing and like I love this idea. Doug watching us live says, as long as it's not it's fine by
Exploitative.
exploitative, it's fine by me. And talking about any trip that has to do with sex tourism, we get it. And absolutely. Yeah, I think these trips can be really good. So then there's the types of trips that you can plan to have fun where nowadays Grinder and a lot of these apps, you can actually set, we've talked about them before on this show, you can pre-book your
Mhm.
sexcapade ahead of time by talking to people in other countries. And I think that's really smart too. It's not just for sex. You can maybe meet people you might want to hook up with. But on the other hand, you can also use, if you will, maybe not the greatest word, our community to find out where to go out. Where's the fun places in a flirty kind of
Yeah.
way? What do you think of those things?
Oh, I do that all the time. Whenever I'm in a new place and I sign on Grinder, I always ask them where the people that I connect with there, where should I go? What's live tonight? What's going on? Because they're from there, and it's an untapped resource as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm just getting there, so yeah, it's definitely a way to connect with people, and you never know, maybe one of the guys you reach out to on Grindr will meet you at a bar that is, very lively, and you can have a little fun in the bar or at their house or what have you. So I think I always say use the tools that you have at hand for you in order to get what you want. Use what you got to get what you want, baby.
Yeah, and we mentioned before on the show that nowadays, even in America here, for so long, I felt we were so prudish, even in our sexual spaces here. And now, so many of the parties have dark rooms, back rooms that they're incorporating into the parties. You were at the meat party. I'm sure there was an area that people were having fun, if not
Not
on
that
the
I
dance
saw. They
floor.
were probably doing it on a dance floor.
Yeah, maybe on the dance floor. I've noticed a lot of parties are incorporating it more. But when you go overseas, like Europe and Puerto Vallarta, there the dark room is not thought of like, ooh, hush hush. It's like just the bars have them in the background there, and you can I love it because you can get a cocktail, you can hang out with your friends. When you wanna go to the dark room and for a little bit, sexploration, you can go, and then you can rinse and repeat and start the whole process over again, and I think it just makes sense, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
make sure you rinse first though
Re
before you repeat.
Yeah, exactly. Techno watching us live says, "How does one prep to bottom on a cruise?" And how do you what it's I guess
You
the
don't ask
question.
me.
Yeah, how do you prep? Yeah, the thing is, like, the food is so good on cruises oftentimes, and so you just wanna make sure that whatever routine you had that kept you clean, you just wanna kinda keep that going so that yeah, but as Dr. Goldstein says, most of us are clean in general. Don't overdouche. Those are his
Yeah,
words. Proctologist, favorite of our show, Dr.
yes, he
Goldstein.
is. Love
And
him.
don't think too much about it too, because you want to have a good time and you'll probably be fine. You can always run back to the room is another, it's always
Yeah.
there. So I think you're good. But yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, we actually wanted to get to let's keep this conversation going because we're all planning travel trips this year, and I'm really excited to keep this conversation going. You can always keep it going on our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/tags podcast. But we actually had a question last week that Teddy and I didn't see that we wanted to get to. It comes from Techno. It goes by Techno on this show. Wanted to read it. We'll discuss. And he writes, here, actually watching us live right now. Let me know if I was being a total snob about this. Probably not. As a bottom, I usually wear underwear that frames and hugs my butt just right, making it look extra plump, juicy, and downright tempting. I do
Mm,
top sometimes, but only for someone who's softer and more feminine than I am. I always get
mm,
clear rules up front of what is off limits. We also met, and definitely this person was more feminine than me, and they kept themselves locked in one of those tight little cages that make everything down there look smooth and flat. When they came over, they showed up dressed all sexy and teasing, but the second their bottoms came off, boring plain boxers. It kind of killed the mood for me. So one night I had them slip into a pair of my drawers instead. Was that too much? Most of my stuff is just cheap stuff from Temu or Amazon. Nothing fancy. I just think if if it all looks as hot and put together as the rest. Oh, I also if you know you're coming over to get naughty with me, we should at least match the underwear to the outfit. Make it
True.
all look hot and put together as the rest of you. I don't think that was too much. I'll give my take, but what do you say, Cody?
Unwrapping the present is sometimes the best part of the experience. So I feel like the wrapping needs to be as good as the gift. And unfortunately, after you got down to almost the gift, because it was wrapped several times apparently, yeah, you didn't. The payoff was a little bit not as good as we intended or we expected. So you don't get what you want unless you ask for it in life. So of course it's fine. I'm sure that this person didn't have an issue with or I hope they would have mentioned it if they did have an issue. And as long as you communicate properly and you are making sure that everybody is comfortable in this situation, I don't see how it could be a problem. I personally love sexy underwear. I saw this guy on Sniffies the other day, I think it was yesterday, and he was wearing like a lace panty set in the picture, and it was just instant erection. And I can't wait to hook up with him because he is scrumptious. And
Mm.
I have an underwear fetish through and through. And if you have on sexy underwear, please send me a picture because it's everything I need in love.
Yeah, men's lingerie is having a moment right now,
Yeah,
and
so
I
good.
think that the way this situation started out, that they were talking about getting together, that this wasn't something that was just a fly by night. It was they were gonna spend some time together. I think this
Yeah,
person probably would think, "Oh my gosh, I who doesn't love being dressed up?" I over in the past when I was really in my BDSM moment, and I could open a boutique, I've said before on this show, of all the leather. And recently in spring cleaning, Diego and I were going through all of my leather, putting some aside to maybe give away, but still, I could still open up a mini boutique. It's just a little bit more organized. But back in the
yeah,
day when I was really into it, running for New York Mr. Eagle, I would have guys over and I was constantly dressing them up in leather gear, putting on cock rings on them, and it became
that's
almost like this
amazing.
dress up party that was like a fun leather dress up party, different types of jock straps. It was really hot and the guys were always into it, and it just made for a longer session, a lot more fun. Who doesn't like trying on sexy stuff, especially if you know the person you're with is turning them on? It just
Yeah,
makes for what would otherwise be a very short, quick wham bam to something that's elongated and sexy and fun. And yeah, I say go for it and maybe put that now in your buy a lot more of that cheap stuff as you call it, because it no one knows it's cheap and it looks hot when it's on, and in the
yeah,
dark everything looks better. So yeah, I think keep on doing that. It's hot. I'm sure that guy was not offended at all.
yeah,
Absolutely,
I'm
right?
sure.
Yeah.
And next time, if he's down with it, make him do a little dance too. Ooh, I love a nice, sexy strip tease. And so, yeah, okay. I have a fetish.
Absolutely. Definitely. Okay, well, we started something new on the show in honor of Madonna's Confessions, and Confessions on the Dance Floor Part 2, or just Confessions Part 2, is coming out July 3rd. And we thought we started last week a new segment called Confessions. We're opening up the confessional and we're revealing something either on a past trip or something sexually that we've done recently that is kind of confessing. Do you have one, Cody? You look a little
I
scared
can.
there.
I'm debating on what I should share, and
Okay,
you
well,
know
I'll
what?
start
Throw
first.
caution to the wind, right? Go ahead.
Well, mine has to do with since we were talking so much about travel, I was thinking a lot about that. And I had gone on an Atlantis cruise, and on this is years ago, and met two separate couples. I was single at the time, and two separate couples, and they were both very sexy, both very different, but very hot and sexy, and both lived in London. Well, I was
Oh,
seeing a guy at the time here, but things were okay, maybe a little bit on the rocks. And he did something where I said, I'm going. on vacation by myself when I went to London solo. I don't know that I had ever been anywhere by myself at that point,
Okay.
and went and reminded myself of these 2 sets of couples that lived in London, and boy, I contacted both of them, and the first I bookended it. So the first one took me to the Soho House and wined and dined me, and then we
The
had
first
fun,
couple.
the first couple,
You love
and
it?
we had a lot of fun. That one, I would say, was more just a really good interaction with these guys. It was a little flirty, but we didn't really have sex. It was just they wined and dined me, and it was at the Soho House in London, was fabulous and was really cool. The second group took me out and about in the heart of Soho in London, and we had a really good time and proceeded to go back to my hotel where we had an amazing threesome, taking turns on each other, and it was totally hot. And I want to say that all of the situations were, I mean, really good. And then I came back to that guy that I was seeing at the time, and he was like, "Did you have a good time?" I said, "I had a great time." I didn't tell him all the details, but he didn't need to know. He didn't ask. Remember, we were kind of
Deep.
fighting at the moment. We weren't exclusive,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he really liked
That's
me,
funny.
and ultimately we became friends afterwards, and we were fine. And I did keep in contact with those couples a little bit, but you know how that goes over a
Yeah.
period of time. But it was the tale of 2 sets of couples that I bookended this London trip, and it was really hot, and I mean, I felt literally taken care of the whole trip in more ways than
Love
one. And
that.
yeah, it was fun,
Yes.
a lot of fun.
That's wonderful. I don't know if I could beat that. So we just move on. No.
It
So
could be
I
anything, it's just a
I know.
confessional.
It's just a confessional. All right. So
Yeah,
Father,
and by the
bless
way,
me for I have
audience watching
sinned.
us live or on our Tags Patreon community, tell us one of your confessions now through July 3rd, and we'll read them on the show. You can be anonymous, you can just go by one
That
name,
sounds so
and we'll read
fun.
a lot of those. Yeah, it'll
But
be a
they
fun
know
segment.
me if Okay, all right, you ready?
As if you don't
So
say enough already on the
I
show.
know, right? I literally tell my whole life. But do I have to say like bless me before I have sinned? It's been like 2 weeks since
Well,
my
we can
last.
make this like it's Madonna's confessional, not a
Oh, okay.
Catholic.
Bless me,
You're
mother.
not. The Pope is not listening to this podcast. If he
Oh, okay,
is, I
good.
would be
Whew.
honored, but I don't know. He's kind of a progressive Pope, so who knows?
Yeah, you never know. So yeah, so lately in my life, I feel like I'm hooking up with this a particular young man, and he's very attractive, and he's very into water sports. So
Oh.
it is something that I have tried before, but I wasn't necessarily in it. I was kind of just going through the motions, and like I played around with some guy. We were in a bathtub. It was hot, but after that, I was just like, okay, let's fuck. But recently I've been really getting into it, just seeing
They
how much he
respond and
enjoys it. Yeah, just seeing how much he enjoys it, and the just the reaction and feeling that dominance, which is, par for the course for me. I am all about feeling like a big daddy dom top right about now. But yeah, that really is getting me going, and I hope to do it again very soon. So that's my confession. Do I
that's a
do
really
like
good one.
a Hail Mary or something? What do I
Please, I
have?
on the last episode
Yeah, what'd you
756 was
say?
telling you and Jeremy that
Oh,
Diego and I
I
had
was there.
went home with this guy in our neighborhood, and we're in his shower
Yeah.
on our knees, not just what you just said, getting pissed on,
Yeah.
but getting
I was
slapped
like,
in the
"Ooh."
face. And it
I have
was
to start holding more back for these confessions, though. I have to be like, okay, but I've already told all the things. That's why I'm having this problem.
exactly. Well, I have a feeling you'll have more to come. We want to hear your confessions
I
in
gotta go and
honor of
fuck now.
Confessions 2 coming out July 3rd. But keep those confessions coming. We'll read them on today's episode or future episodes, and keep them coming. Okay. Well, let's get into hot topics because we have a few of them and more advice to give. And this one comes off of what it's kind of a follow-up because we were talking about the return and filming of season 4 of The White Lotus and how Helena Bonham Carter started she showed up on set for season 4 along a huge cast of people that I'm really excited to see, like Sandra Bullock is gonna be in the new series, there's do you remember some of the other people that are gonna be in the new
Rosie
season that
Perez, who I
Rosie
love.
Perez, oh my gosh. There's a
Yes.
lot of
Who else?
people that are coming out in the new season. Well, Helena is axed out. No word on why, whether sh I mean, Mike White wrote this part for her, but whether it didn't work out or there was a rumored beef between Sandra Bernhard and Helena, but of course,
Oh,
all all sides say that was just made up. So who really
oh,
knows? But guess
I
who
love Juice.
replaced her? None other than Laura Dern, my favorite, one of my favorite actresses ever. I love anything Laura Dern does. And if you know, my sister and I were huge fans of Mike White's series Enlightened. You can watch it on HBO, so it's a reunion.
Okay.
If you also know, Laura Dern in an earlier season was one of like a voice actor in it. She was kind of a narrator because she's so close to
Oh,
Mike White. And she's been in a former film in 2007 that Mike White wrote at the time. And so there's a lot of friendship between them. I think they'll change the part, but what do you think of Laura Dern replacing Helena? Because I mentioned
I
I'm not a
love
big
her.
Helena Bonham Carter fan at all. So
I
she
love
was my
Helena
least
too.
favorite out of all of it.
Really?
Oh, my least. I was like, all the rest of the cast, I was so excited. But so now to have somebody axed out that I could care less about, replacing it by Laura Dern,
Did you
I'm
do
so
voodoo? I
excited.
think you might have did voodoo.
I
I
mean, I
think
may
you
have. Laura Dern.
Santeria. Yeah, no, I love her. I think she's amazing. I do love Helena Bonham Carter too. She's like kooky in the best way, and but I'm really excited about Laura Dern. I think she's fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they're coming up with because they have Kumail Nanjiani in there too. I just looked it up, and I live for him. He is so beautiful to me, so I can't wait to see what they have going on over there.
Yeah, I forgot where they said they were shooting it. Is it Hawaii or
Let me look because I have the article pulled up.
yeah.
Saint Tropez,
Oh, Central.
France.
Oh, come on.
I
Central
mean,
Bay.
I mean,
Come
yeah,
on, south of
it's gonna be a good
France.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, look forward to that. Well, recently it was announced that Sniffy's has been, it's always been built by cruisers, says the CEO, but now Match Group, which, Match.com is investing 100 million in Sniffy's, the cruising app. Match Group, the dating app, they have things like Match, Tinder, OkCupid, and Hinge says that it has invested 100 million in yet another mobile service designed to bring people together, a grinder competitor known as Sniffies. And this has caused a little bit of controversy because Sniffies is based in Seattle, has an estimated 3 million monthly active users. Match says the company will continue to operate independently, with Match Group assisting the team's vision and growth. Well, this has rubbed a lot of users wrongly because now they're saying, oh, great. Now that you get bought or investments are coming in, does that mean that now all of a sudden we're going to see all these ads pop up like we see on Grindr and a lot of the other apps? Sniffies has built its reputation on being a not even an app, more of like a cruising platform that mirrors itself like cruising. You never know who you're going to meet. It's raw, it's real, it's in your face. And we've had the marketing chief officer early on this show, and that's what he tooted. I believe in growth, though, and I believe in moving forward. He has let me just read one thing. Sniffies has gone on record as saying we will continue to provide just cruising focused, rooted in real world connections. And this is really exciting for our platform. What do you say to this? Are you worried? I know you were reading me something in our meeting that by somebody
Yeah.
that we know and love, that
Yes.
maybe said delete your sniffies.
Oh, yes, he did. But first, I want to say that I am cautiously optimistic. Like I I've seen what has happened with other platforms when third parties get involved and give money, like Grinder. I'm going to just call it out. I feel like a lot of the things that Grinder has done has just been a cash grab, and it's lost a lot of the soul of the community. I haven't stopped using it, but I do think that a lot of things that are going on are just for money, just for revenue. But I mean, that's the name of the game, of course. Everybody wants to make money. But I feel like as if you lose the community component of it, then I think that you're going to start to lose people. And I just hope that doesn't happen with Sniffies. Now, DJ Mitch Farino wants everybody to, who we love. Hi, Mitch. Well, is saying that
Diego
we need
loves
to.
him too. He goes,
He's the
Amici.
best. He's really is
Yeah.
the best. He was saying, I saw on his Instagram in a story, he was saying to delete your sniffies because they have connections to third parties like that match group. Like they have connections to Israel and all that kind of stuff. And I think that he is ardently against that. I would like to have him on to see what he has to say about it. I would also like to have the guy we had on before from Sniffies. I would like to have him back on to see, because I think it's a topic that the community wants to talk about because we have a lot of questions.
Yes, exactly. I think and this comes where Match has lost a lot of users on a lot of their platforms because there's a growing trend of people wanting to meet people in real life. And back to like the way it all started, going out and I think that that's become more popular and they've lost money. So it's interesting that they're going after the cruising app and have gone after them to, you know, propel like what are they going to change that's different and how are they going to keep its autonomy in what made Sniffies different from all the rest. It really propelled online cruising and all the things that we love about cruising in general, where you can meet somebody anonymously. But what do they have planned? I think I would like to see itemized items if I was a member on what are some of these things, because they both said on both sides, Sniffies and Match, that there's going to be actual things we want to continue the vision. But what are some of those things? And what are we going to see that's going to be? And what are we not going to see? Like third party users, extra ads that we don't need to be seeing. Can you promise us those kinds of things? And I
Yes,
think
send us the
when you do,
PDF.
I'm all about movement and buyouts are a real thing. We want people to make money, but at what point you got to then lay out for your ultimate end user, what are we going to see? Alan watching us live says, I don't know. Sniffies is great because it's down and dirty, scrappy. It shouldn't be more mainstream. That's not the vibe.
I
And
totally
Match is
agree.
a lot more mainstream that they've chartered
It's the
into
most
that
mainstream.
territory. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it remains to be seen. I don't know if I was a active user paying that I would immediately delete, but I would
Yeah, I
want more.
haven't.
I would hope they would lay out some more ground guidelines of what's to come before we make
Yeah,
that
we want
decision.
a we want a PowerPoint presentation by Friday. So get on
Oh,
that,
wow.
Sniffies.
Okay. I didn't realize you were on the board, but love
I
it.
want it. I'm not on the board, but the people deserve.
Yeah, but you're kinda on the board because you're, like, paying into this, right? You pay for a
I wish I had
tier.
profits in that company.
But do you
Woo!
pay like a tier
I think
of
there's only one tier,
okay.
and you just pay monthly. I think it's
There's
like 20
about to be
bucks.
more people, it looks like, yeah.
Stop. No, we don't want it. We don't want that.
Well,
We
we've
want to
talked
keep
a
it down and dirty.
we've talked a lot about Lil Nas X, and he's getting treatment for what? Remember that whole thing that happened in the valley where he was seen at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday parading down the street in his on the street in his underwear and white boots and a cowboy hat. Maybe on something, maybe on not. But he went to court and he kind of got that settled. Well, now he's gone to a treatment center, Kodi, which is really good, and that's good to hear. But he is recently on a podcast, the Outlaws podcast by T.S. Madison, where
Mm.
he immediately sent the internet into overdrive that he's 99% gay. Yep, not 100, not 98, a very specific 99. He quote, "I'm gay," he clarified, "but if something happens, I'm not going to stop myself." And just like that, the conversation around sexuality, fluidity, and possibilities got a little more interesting. The 1% that launched 1,000 tweets. Again, be careful what you say, right? Because so what does that really mean? Well, according to Little Nas X, it's less about rewriting his identity and more about not boxing himself in. He shared that while he predominantly leans towards men, there have been moments where he's felt drawn to women, just not usually in a sexual way. It's mostly emotional, he said, about he's not trying to limit himself. I mean, I think sexuality has always been a spectrum. I think this was
Yeah.
fodder for being on a podcast. I think he has not been heard from other than that moment after he was arrested, had to serve time in jail, went to a mental institute, for lack of a better word, and all we heard was, "Girl, she gonna be okay," is what he said when it was out going down. He needs to start to rebuild and get back in the game a little bit. I think seeing something like this is provocative, especially to the community, but 99%, yeah, I mean, Kodi, are you 100% or
Me
99?
too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like
I I
85,
think
90%.
yeah,
Yeah.
85.
Probably more 90, honestly. I love dick.
What did Diego
But
say over there,
yeah,
50? You're 50 over
Diego's
there?
50?
Are you 50,
Wow.
Diego? He's laughing, yeah. Talk
Okay.
about
All
being
right, Diego.
provocative, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Yeah,
Diego.
but
Continue ironing your clothes over there.
but yeah, the Kinsey scale is out there for a reason. It's because these, you know, this has been out there in the world and sexuality as long as sexuality has existed. So I don't think it's something shocking or provocative. I'm actually surprised he's so high on the he's a Kinsey, what is it, 8? I forget what it goes up to. So he's pretty gay. I would think that I'm like more of a you know what the other tier is. I have to look at the Kinsey scale again because it's been like since college since I actually looked at what it was. But I know it exists, so that's something.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm pretty locked in to a marriage and
I know,
happily,
right? Y'all
and
y'all ain't doing
also
nothing.
yeah, so, but, I mean, it's, you know, 100%, 90 fine, 99, that 1% that I find of course, I find women attractive, but it's sexually attractive? I mean, yeah, of course. I think it's healthy. I think he's given himself that 1% that yeah,
Yeah.
no,
He's a
absolutely.
5. I would say I'm a 5 too, looking at this scale.
On
Yeah.
McKinsey?
The Kinsey
Explain
scale, it
that
goes from
real quick.
0 to 6. So basically the Kinsey scale is a measure of sexual orientation. I'm actually reading now from Google. Ranging from 0, which is exclusively heterosexual, to 6, which is exclusively homosexual, with 1 through 5 indicating varying degrees of bisexual behavior or desire. So, yeah, it's if you're a 6, then you're all the way homosexual. If you're a 0, you're all the way heterosexual. So me and him, we're in the same box. We're fives. And I guess Diego was a 3 because he's 50-50.
Well, provocatively, he said that.
So
Just like,
Oh, I
Little
heard that
Nas X.
laugh.
Okay, are you gonna watch this new show called Ultimate Boys Trip?
I do
Stealing
want
its name
to.
from the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. There's a new gay reality TV show that follows handsome adult performers as they feud, film, and feel the fantasy in none other than Miami. And who am I talking about? Well, it's all based on a show that is on what is the network? Out TV, X-rated NYC, that they're kind of expanding to a travel show a la Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And the new series follows three stars from the OG show that go to South Beach and link up with another notable OnlyFans model. Who's in it? Well, Boomer Banks, Joey Mills, and Max
Love,
Connor were from the
love.
original X-rated NYC stars that'll move on. Who are they adding to the cast? Drake Vaughn. If you know anything about Drake Vaughn has been, he's kind of a twink. I think we were talking about him on a recent show where he's with
I don't remember.
allegedly with an adult performer as well that's significantly older than him, but it seems to be
Ah,
working out. And he also declared himself that he 1,000 bottoms versus one top. He did that challenge once where I think
oh, yeah.
he did 1,000 bottoms. Whether he did it or not, who knows? What can you expect on this? Oh my gosh. Well, it all brings it in when Boomer Banks gets a residency job in South Beach at the Hotel Gathering, Miami's gay hotel. I went to that hotel when it first
I
opened. It's
wanna
kind of
go
cool.
there. I
It's
wanna go
boutique.
there.
It's like finally somebody opened up a hotel there in Miami that just addresses our sexuality. And it's very nice. It's boutique-y. It's just the right size. And they've got a space there. And they hired Boomer Banks to have a DJ residency. So he, of course,
Oh,
brings his
nice.
friends, somewhat, I'm sure, a stage. But if you watch the trailer, there is a lot of drama and
I
throwing
feel like
of,
most of it is staged.
well, I
I
mean,
feel
I
like it's
don't, did you watch
reality
the trailer?
adjacent.
What do you think? Are you
Yes,
going to watch
yeah.
this?
I am all in. I think it's
Can we
even though
get
I
your account
feel.
to watch this? I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I actually have to reactivate it because
okay.
I think the show that I was watching on there was gone, and I didn't see anything else that I really wanted to watch, but now I'm back in, and I wanna see this show because, first of all, who doesn't love Boomer? So,
Yeah.
I adore Boomer Banks, and I wanna see everything that he's in, and this looks like I love Salacious, I love, all the fighting from the Real Housewives and things of that nature, so this looks like a good time, even though I really feel like 90% of this is manufactured, but I don't care. I really think that they do their best to make it really
You
gripping
never
and just
know with some of
fun.
these. I mean, I think a lot of it, I think the general premise of the gathering, maybe I think Boomer really did get this and they're like, let's build it around your residency. I think Max Connor gives some really honest lines in a lot of this, though, that he's like, what is happening here? And those other two
You don't hold
twinks,
back.
the other two twinks I could see really getting into it, but I don't know because I think the other one of those twinks has had a history of seemingly propelling a lot of things that aren't real,
Mm,
and so Max Connor.
okay.
So who knows? But it does look like a lot of fun. Why should we limit ourselves just to the housewives? And
Yeah,
when we've got our own gay dramas, and I would watch this, and it looks like a
yeah,
lot of like
and they're
fun.
hot,
Yeah,
so why not?
yeah, I think it looks like a fun time. I wanna watch this for sure. Before we move on into advice, speaking of podcasts and people saying things, there was a recent podcast where, uh, who was I talking about? Oh my gosh, Amy Poehler's podcast, which is very popular, had Gwyneth Paltrow on, and she was heard saying
Love.
on the show, "How early is too early for dinner?" And it became a whole thing where Amy's whispering to Gwyneth Paltrow, and she's saying, "Hey, Gwyneth, I secretly love to have dinner at 6 p.m." And Gwyneth goes, I had a reservation at 5:45 last night, and it got me so icked out, like, I'm like, "What are you, old ladies now?"
Oh
But
my god.
apparently there's this new trend amongst Gen Z, and a whole Yahoo YouGov poll came out that 690 US adults say most people, 34% say they typically eat dinner at 6 p.m. Gross. Well,
So early. So
21%
let's
eat at 5 p.m., 23% at 7 p.m., and only 14% said they normally sit down to dinner at 8 p.m. or later. Honey, I'm having dinner at when we're done with the show at 10 p.m.,
10 o'clock.
and I'm taking out a dear friend of ours tomorrow that at 9:45 we got that
Get it.
reservation. The thing is, now this new trend, and it goes along with, people not drinking anymore and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, people, what's happening to the world? We're eating at 6 p.m., we're not drinking. Mm-mm. And so it goes with this whole new trend of all that. But of now, 6 p.m. is the hardest time slot to get for dinner. I say, great, take all those
Really?
6 p.m.
I like
blue-haired
7.
special
I like 8.
dinners. Blue-haired special dinners. Yeah, I said it. And I will get the 8 p.m. time slot that I always wanted in the first place. Yeah, I said it. And that was my gripe for today. I had to get it off my chest because I'm
Okay.
like, okay, Gwyneth and Amy, and
I'm with you
what
though.
do you say to
If you
the
make that 8
6
o'clock,
p.m. dinner?
it's too early. That's what time my mom eats dinner, and she goes to bed at 9
I,
o'clock. So,
my
but she's
mom, who's
she's almost
88,
70.
mine's 88, and we had this whole conversation, Diego and I. She doesn't eat until like 8:30. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Okay. I
yeah.
mean, I'll go out with you at 8 to have dinner. I
Honey,
love it.
yeah.
I think that people need to, you said a lot is going on in the world as far as all these other things are concerned. People need to take into account what's already here and enjoy your life and live your life to the fullest. So I say whatever you want to do, do it. But if you think that if you're doing these things because other people are doing them and that is not what you feel in your heart, then I feel like you should reassess some things.
Yeah, Amy goes on to say, I look forward all day to 6 p.m. And I'm like, to eat your dinner, and she says, because and she's whispering too, so I'm doing her, because then I can crawl into bed at 8. And I'm like, 8?
Wow.
Oh,
They
why not just
they
pack
have
it
a
all
different
in, girl?
lifestyle.
Pack it all
They just have
in.
a different
Just
lifestyle,
pack your
different
lifestyle
lifestyle.
in,
We
then.
can never
You
live
just
like that.
I could never live like that. Never. I don't want to live like that. I'm moving to
Yeah.
Spain someday, honey, and they do it later. And not in this lifetime. Alan watching us live says, I don't. Oh, Doug says my last meal is at 6 p.m. Okay, so you're one of those people. Defend it.
Nice.
We should stop and move on. We love giving advice on the
Right?
show, and today is no different. Let's get to a couple of them. Oh my God, we have Thirst Trap too. I'll let you pick the one, Kodi, because we've got to get to our Thirst Trap.
Yeah, you were going about the blue plate special. Now
Blue
we're
haired
off track.
special, yeah.
No, blue plate or blue hair. I don't know. Anywho,
Yeah.
let's do the quick one. The one where the idea of the threesome, because we can do that one and then get the thirst
Okay.
trap.
Yes. On Reddit, somebody recently wrote, the idea of a threesome with my boyfriend is interesting, but I'm afraid I'll get jealous. I've never been in a threesome. He has before me. I'm a top, he's a bottom. The prospect of me sharing him with another guy is very hot to me, and we have talked about it. I get horny about thinking another guy fucking him while he sucks me off. The thing is, I'm afraid that I'll get jealous in the middle of it and just not be cool with it anymore. If we do go through with it, and that does happen, how do I not feel jealous? Or if I do, how do I handle those feelings in real time? Well, I can tell you from firsthand, you will feel jealous if you already are putting it out there. I've played with Diego, and both of us on either side have felt those jealousies at different points in time. But what you really have to do is kind of, set up parameters on when you need to send that person home. You need to have that eye contact with your partner that says, this isn't working for me anymore, in the moment, and say, okay, send this person home, because there can be jealous. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Over time, I think it can work out, and we've had more successful times in the more nearer future than we have when we first jumped into it. But it's a real thing, and it can happen, and you just need to be aware of it. Communication is needed and all that. What do you say to this?
I agree with you 100%. I think they have more to look out for because he admits that like there is a component there of him getting jealous. So just be aware of your feelings and how they're expressing themselves, where they're coming from, when they're coming up. Because as soon as you realize a trigger, you probably should stop whatever is going on and then take some time to see what triggered you and then kind of figure out where you go from there. So I think all of that in the communication and realize you have to be very self-aware to have this kind of things because uh jealousy is going to come up, point blank period. It happens to the best of people, and yeah, you're a human being, so let yourself be human.
Absolutely. And great for putting that out there because you don't know what the unexpected is going to hold and how you're going to really feel about it. And it may vary. Like I said, one time one of us was more jealous than the other one based on something that the other person didn't think was a big deal. Then the next time it was another thing. So it can rotate and he might feel jealous too. You should have those conversations early on with him to find out what that is. Keep those conversations coming in. Doug's clarifying, I have to get up at 5 a.m. Okay, Doug, I see you. I hear you.
I'm typing back to him. I told him that I die if I wake up early. He says he has to wake up very early. I wither like Dracula in the sun if I get up before 10 o'clock.
I love it. Yeah, no shame to those that, if you've got that schedule. Amy, I don't think has that schedule, nor does Gwyneth.
Girl,
But
she get up when she want to
yeah,
get up.
right. I mean, okay, if you're filming a movie and you have to be on set at 5 a.m., great. But none of them clarified that that's what they were doing. Amy
Yeah.
saying that she crawls in bed at 8 p.m., whatever, girl. I get it, Doug, though, for those of you that have those schedules. It's time to move on to Thirst Trap, though, and we want to get this in. It's our job on an audio podcast to vividly describe why this week, Straight Up Gay Porn chose 17 gay porn stars, asking the question, who took the best photo? It's our job to describe. Who do you pick and why?
So I love. I'm just gonna get to it. I think Chase B is so hot, and I looked him up on his
Diego
X,
just
and
yelled out
he
Chase.
fucks like a beast. He fucks like a beast, and he has I'm so in love with Prince Alberts, and he has one. I've always wanted to
He
suck a
was going
Prince
to be
Albert
my
dick
pick
before.
too. That's so
Oh,
funny.
he's so hot, and he's just standing in a hallway. There's brick behind him, not a hallway, in an alleyway, and there's brick behind him. He's got on pants and a shirt, but the button down is all the way open, and his pants are unbuttoned, and his big fat cock with his Prince Albert is on it. He's got a cute face too, and a I think that's it's a treble clef with a heart in it on his chest. So
Yeah,
he's
shout
my
out to
pick.
Style. I think that's why I picked him too, because from head to toe, from the brick wall in the background to his really great facial expression, he's very coiffed, but not in an overly coiffed way, if that means anything. He's got like a nice 5 o'clock, but the mustache is fuller. And then you move down to he's got this great, like effortless shirt on that's very spring summer, revealing his very like beefy but ripped
Beefy.
chest. Great musical cleft on his left chest, and he's got a piercing there that I love. Great. He's cut his hair, like whether he did that or not, it's just effortless. And that Albert is also he has a lot of style as well as just being super hot and sexy, and it works for us. Doug says Trip Powers, a cute boy, those feet, plus a, a bear, I think is what he was, or a beer or bear. I didn't look at the picture, but
Mm,
just a few of
I'm
my
trying to
favorite
look.
things. He probably meant.
Oh, he's got a beer. His
Oh, he
beer is
is.
covering
He meant what he
his
said.
cock.
Doug meant what he said. He might have to get up
Yeah,
at
Doug
5
knows what
a.m.,
he's
but
talking about.
yeah, thanks for
He's
staying
with
up
it right
with
now.
us. Yeah, Doug. Wow, I'm honored. Oh my gosh, you could. We'll keep voting. We'll keep this on our Tags Patreon community. You can always follow my co-host on the gram and Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Go to our Tags Patreon community, patreon.com/Tags podcast. And everyone, thanks for joining us. In the meantime, continue having hot gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely. Oh, Alan says Ben Verbeck feeling twinky tonight. Oh, I like that. Lovely.
Woof.
Thanks,
All right, good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night.